Good morning. Welcome back to Maine. So all the young women were sleeping in when I got up this morning. They were just starting to stir when I left, which was about 20 after 6. It's about quarter after 7 now, and we're still making our way down into Sawyer Notch. I think it's about a 1,700 foot drop. And then when we get there, we're going to go straight back up about 1,500 to the summit of Moody Mtn, and then we're going to go straight back down into whatever the next notch is. So up and down today. It was a little warmer last night than it had been. It was 60 when I got up. It's about 65 now. My wife says it's going to be a warmer day in general, and it must be more humid because I'm sweating going downhill. Although it's a rough descent. There's no reason to think the trail is going to get any easier. That thing behind me is what we're going to go up as soon as we get down. So let's see. Anything else going on? Oh yeah, well, as I said, I think it must be more humid. Sweating coming down. So glasses were getting steamed up, so I put my contact lenses in. Big news for today. Still, blue skies. No rain in the forecast. Off we go. After leaving Hall Mountain Lean-To this morning, we began our descent down into Sawyer Notch. After crossing Sawyer Brook, we'll ascend over Moody Mtn and then descend down to Blackbrook. Then we'll begin our long ascent up Old Blue Mtn. After that, we'll cross the Bemis Range, we'll skirt Elephant Mountain, pass Bemis Stream Trail, summit Bemis Mtn, and then finally arrive at Bemis Mtn Lean-To. Here's what that looks like on the profile map: Sawyer Brook, Moody Mtn, Blackbrook, Old Blue Mtn, Elephant Mountain, Bemis Mtn, and the shelter. Well, it's 20 minutes of 8, and we have reached the Sawyer River. So not great time so far. That was 1.4 miles from the shelter. What are you going to do? So we have about another 1.4 to get to the top of Moody Mtn. But it's not clear that we'll know when we're there exactly. And it's 2.7 to the road on the other side. So we'll definitely know where we are then. And about 1,500 up. Maybe a little more, and less down. The other side is higher than we are here. So, it doesn't really look like I'm going to keep my feet dry crossing here, but that's one of the benefits of wearing the trail running shoes, sneakers, is, if my feet get wet, they'll be dry in a few minutes. Well, I did keep my feet mostly dry crossing that. I forgot to mention that on the other side, the north side of the river, there are not only some pretty decent looking camping spots, but there's a picnic table there. That's a first. It is 10 minutes after 9, and I'm going to guess, or at least hope, that I'm near the summit of Moody Mtn. That was quite an ascent, and obviously I didn't make very good time doing it. All right, well, on we go and down. Okay, it is 9:45, and we have reached Blackbrook and South Arm Road. And this is the last reliable water, I believe, until Bemis Lean-To. So we're going to take some time here and rest and collect and filter some water. Unfortunately, there isn't a picnic table here. That would have been nice. So while water is filtering, I thought we'd go over a few numbers. We've come 4.1 miles today. Not easy miles. And it took us about 3.5 hours to do it. At least it's not under a mile an hour. So what we've got next is our last major ascent of the day, which is Old Blue Mtn. We've got about 2,200 feet of elevation gain in about 2.8 miles. Let me double check that. Yes, 2.8. Well, so that's what we've got. Since we've come for something, we've got 8 something to do. So we're not done for the day. All right. Well, I see the water bag is almost full. I back flushed the filter last night to improve the performance. And you know, when I do the back flush, it never seems that much comes through, you know, backwards. But definitely did improve the performance significantly. So I don't know. That's with the Sawyer Mini, by the way. All right. Well, I'm gonna drink some more and then filter some more and then pack up and go. So it's now about 10:15, and we're ready to resume our trek. So we've crossed the river, and we were able to do that entirely on the stones and kept our feet dry. This is, I believe it was South Arm Road. A little bit of parking here. I guess those cliffs are part of Blue Mtn. Trail is straight across. So it's about 12:15. And we're an hour and a half into our ascent of Blue, whatever it is. I'll tell you at the top. And we're taking a break. 2 items, I guess, of note. One is this camera, the Nikon Coolpix AW110, has an altimeter built into it, and I've known that all along, but it never occurred to me to actually try to use it as a aid to navigation. So I kind of paid attention, and I don't think its absolute reading is accurate. It hasn't been calibrated or anything, but I took the reading. It thought at the bottom, and estimated from the profile map, you know, how far we have to go, and I'm kind of keeping track. And out of the 12,000 feet, we've gained about 2,200 feet. We've gained about 1,200. We'll see at the top how accurate that is if we remember. The second thing is, you know, I think I mentioned down at the bottom when I got water. I also drank a whole bunch of water, you know, and people recommend that. Camel up, they call it. And, you know, it makes sense that it would work, but I've never really tested the theory until now. And so I drank, you know, close to 2 quarts of water. And for the last hour and a half, I haven't had a sip. So, and I'm not depriving myself. I'm not really very thirsty. That's probably not going to last until the peak, but you know, it's a good theory. It does work. Well, that's all for now. I'm not done resting, but I'm done talking. I have to apologize to you. I am just a bad backpacking video maker. So you missed the summit of Old Blue Mountain. I was there, honest. I got there, 20 of 1, I think. So well before my my self-imposed goal of 1 o'clock. Means I am going more than 1 mile an hour, even, uphill. So when the place was a zoo, it was just crazy. So I did find a rock to collapse on for a while and recover. And then when I was done with that, I just got up and left. And it's not that I was too shy in all the tumult to take a couple of pictures. At least I would have done that, but it never even occurred to me. I just wanted to get out of there. So I left. And a couple hundred feet down, I realized I hadn't taken any pictures, but I'm sorry, I'm not going to go back. The view wasn't all that good. It was shrubby pines covered the whole peak, and it's pretty hazy out there. So I'm not making excuses, but anyway, that's where we are. So we're headed down the north side of Old Blue. We have about I think 800 feet or so to descend, and we're done with our big elevation changes for today. We need to go up and over Elephant Mountain. That's 300 feet up or something, and down. And we won't really know where we are for sure again until we come to a side trail that's 3.2 miles back from the peak, the Bemis Stream Trail. So on we go. We'll hope the trail is, I hope the trail is is nicer and we can make some decent speed. Still making our way to the Bemis Stream Trail. I thought we might have arrived, but it's just a viewpoint. It does have this nice bench, which I think I'll take advantage of. And something of a view. Give you an idea of what you missed on the summit of Old Blue. Well, it's currently 3:15, and our schedule is all blown to hell. So we still haven't found the Bemis Stream Trail junction, which I would have expected to before I stopped. And I stopped because a very nice southbounder that I passed a short distance down the trail let me know that the water at the Bemis Mountain lean-to consists of a mud puddle. And I remember that mud puddle, I think, and that's a topic for part of another discussion, perhaps. So anyway, so there is this, he pointed out, a very nice stream just up the trail here. Unfortunately, it's a long way still to the lean-to, but we are employing our spare, there it is, platypus bag, and we're going to fill that with filtered water. And okay, sorry about that, I just had to change the battery. It's one of the least favorite things about this camera is there's no way to tell when the battery's about to run out. It just stops working. Well, it does give me a little beep anyway, so I know I'm not wasting my time. So anyway, so we completed then filling our spare reservoir and we drank a bunch of water, and now we're filling up our primary reservoir. So that'll get us into camp with about 4 quarts of clean water, which, you know, hopefully will allow us to make it through the night. So we still have quite a ways to go. Not a huge amount of elevation gain, but we're not doing all that well on uphills. We're going pretty slowly. Well, the only, you know, bright spot in all this is maybe this will mean that it's less likely that there'll be crowds at the Bemis Mtn shelter. That would be a nice consolation prize. It is 3:45, and we have found the junction with the Bemis Stream Trail. I'm standing to the north side of the junction. There was no sign if you're coming from the south. But you wouldn't really miss it. So from this point, it's 2.7 miles to the lean-to. A little bit of uphill, more down than up. Our immediate goal is the summit. That's the west summit, which is 1 mile from here, uphill. It's about 18 after 4, and we have reached the peak, the main peak of Bemis Mtn. 3592, so 8 feet lower than the peak of Old Blue, but a world of difference in the vegetation. Sorry, there's no view. So now it's 1.7 miles onto the shelter, almost all downhill. Somewhere there's a slight rise to get over third peak of Bemis. Let's see, so we did almost 2 miles an hour coming here. That's almost 2 miles. It's too hard to do the math. You know, 5 to 5:15. Later than we like. Well, we did arrive at camp at about 5:30. I think something was screwy with the mileages on those last few signs that made me think I had done that 1 mile distance in 2 miles an hour, and then took me forever to do the following 1.7. But got here about 5:30. And what time is it now? I can't tell. It's almost 7, about 5 or 7. So I've spent that time well, getting hammocks and tarps set up, and the pack unpacked, and recuperating a bit, and cleaning up, taking a little sponge bath, and sending a message home to my wife on the Delorme, letting her know I'm okay. But yeah, we don't. I think sunset's 8ish. I'm not really sure. 8, maybe 8:30. But I don't want to risk, you know, eating in the dark. So there are other stories I could tell, but I'm first going to concentrate on getting dinner going. So, and we're having a new meal tonight, so it's nice that I can talk to you, which is Babelfish Five's chicken and rice with vegetables. Let's see. Now, I probably modified this somewhat, you know, based on my wife's input, but we had ground chicken, white rice, peas, onion, celery, green pepper, garlic, salt, and Italian seasoning. So we're gonna start to let that rehydrate and cook. Okay, so the food is on the alcohol stove waiting for a boil. And I have no other chores, I think, pending, so we can talk for a moment. So today we went 12.8 miles, and we took a little over, it doesn't matter, about 11 hours to do it. So a little over a mile an hour. The trail is rough. It's not just that there's a lot of up and down. It's rooty, rocky. So even in places where it might be level or close to level, it's it's really hard for me anyway to get up a good walking pace. I heard some of the thru hikers talking about feeling like they can't make any progress, and they were complaining that they could only make 2 miles an hour. So, so probably we've both lost about a mile an hour off our what we had been considering, a normal overall speed. So I'm going to guess that's going to be the pattern, with minor variations. But we can deal with that. Let's see what else. Well, so we got here, as I said, at 5:30 with my extra water, and I mentioned before that the description of the mud puddle as a water source rang a bell, and the reason it rings a bell is I did this section of trail before. I did it exactly 30 years ago, 1985. It was in August that year, but close enough. And I was 31 then. You can do the math. Now, I also had, 55, 60-pound pack then. So, what I've gained in years, I've lost in pack weight pretty close. So, something there. So, and I have to say that nothing is looking familiar. The shelters don't. Nothing. I thought I had a recollection of this shelter, the one with the mud puddle, but my recollection is entirely different. So, never trust your memory, at least over a 30-year time span. It's your mind is not a VCR. So that's just a little tidbit I thought I'd throw out. I'll try to drag up a picture. I think I can come up with at least one that shows me and my then hiking buddy on the trail in 1985. So, as I said, I got here at 5:30, and what I found was a pleasant surprise. There was about 6 southbound thru hikers in the shelter. They were here when I got here, and they were polite, and and they started making motions of moving stuff aside. So I'd be welcome at the inn if I so desired. But I quickly put their minds to ease, said I was looking for trees, and they confirmed about the water source being a mud puddle thing. They said it's nice and cold though, so that's nice. So I did go out looking for places for the hammock, and I found quite a few. There's a couple tent pads here, and I'm sitting on one of them. The tree's about 6 paces apart, so all to the good. We're not expecting rain. Well, I guess that's a bit of a non sequitur, but tent pads sometimes don't work out so well in a heavy rain, but that won't really be an issue. Anything else? Now, in terms of the craziness of the last 2 nights, the first night was Friday night, but I don't think that had anything to do with the situation at that first shelter, Fry, whatever it was. The big band of southbound thru hikers who basically took over the shelter, that could have happened any day. So, and the fact that there were 5 or 6, or maybe more, northbound thru hikers there on that same day was just a bad coincidence, apparently. The next night, was a Saturday night, and maybe that partially accounts, or entirely accounts, for that group that basically took over the tent area and the shelter, at least briefly, last night. It could have been a weekend type deal. So, and today I'm finding there's this group of southbounders, and I don't think there's any northbounders. In fact, no northbounder passed me today. So they all passed me yesterday, I guess. So northbounders apparently aren't as thick on the ground, as they initially appeared. I just happened to hit a bunch of them, and there are many more southbounders out here than I would have expected. Well, all right. I think that's enough babbling for now. I should have a boil soon and stir that up and put it in the cozy. So here is our rehydrated chicken and rice with vegetables. So I'll have a couple comments to make on this. It seems that with rice dishes, Babelfish 5 vastly underestimates the amount of water that the dish needs to reconstitute itself. So I did the half-inch over the top, and used that to measure how much water, and there wasn't enough water. And so I add more water, and that was cold water, and so it cools everything off a little bit, and so it's less effective, and blah, blah, blah. So add more water at the beginning, so it's all hot. I can't say how much. Go long, If it ends up a little soupy, who cares? You're on the trail. If it ends up too dry, it won't rehydrate fully. So there you go. There's your trade-off. But now the other thing is maybe 20 minutes would have been enough if all that water had been hot. But I added cold water, and after 20 minutes, it's not fully rehydrated. Last night I ate the jambalaya, which is another of his rice dishes. I added a lot more water than what he recommended, and I let it sit in the cozy for half an hour, and it was still warm after that. But here, since I've added the cold water, this is getting borderline in terms of temperature. So I'm going to eat it now, even though it's a little bit crunchy, because I don't want it to cool off anymore. Some additions I made to this is I put in a little bit of sour cream, because what isn't better with sour cream? And my wife is home dehydrating kale like crazy, so she threw some kale in here, because she's got to find something to do with it. So other than that, it's Babelfish 5's recipe, and we're going to eat it now. Well, it's about 8:30, and I managed to complete all my chores just in time, because it's getting pretty dim. So I'll say you good night, and see you in the morning.